Alright. Do you guys like this setup? You can see the back of my microwave. That's nice. Hello. Welcome. Hope you guys are having a great day. I don't know how to start this video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys my bullet journal. I asked a while ago on my Instagram if you guys wanted to see how I set it up. I am very new to bullet journaling. I haven't done it for very long. I started last April, and last year I didn't really keep up with it as much as I wanted to, but I felt that I was a little overwhelmed, honestly. You see a lot of videos nowadays with people making theirs so pretty and creative with a whole bunch of illustrations and everything. But the point of a bullet journal is to just keep your life organized and keep your life on track. The creator of the bullet journal, I learned, is Ryder Carroll. I found out he was a graphic designer, which is pretty cool because that's what I am and what I majored in. He started this because he found that regular planners didn't really help him very much because they weren't customizable. He had really bad ADD, ADHD, so he kind of developed a structure that worked for him, which is why I think people love the bullet journal so much. It's customizable and it just fits you perfectly. It's however you want to make it. So I'm making this video, bullet journaling for the new and confused, because I want to show you my techniques and how I've kept up with it without being too overwhelmed. I just made a bullet journal in my book arts class last semester. So I like to use this, but like I said, you can use whatever book you want. You can use regular grids, dot grids, lines, whatever you prefer. But I'm just going to go through my journal now and show you guys some of the basic pages that Ryder Carroll uses. Some of the pages that I've kept throughout last year, and then the spreads that I like to keep now that I think can help you keep your bullet journal organized and help you be productive in life. So let's get into it. I'm just going to talk about a few basic things about my bullet journal specifically. This is the one I use. It's a book that I made in my book arts class. I would recommend is that it has the dots on it, the bullet grid. That's what I like using, but you can use whatever you want for your bullet journal. The other thing that mine has specifically is just a pocket back here so I can put things in that I need. It's just nice to have. And then another thing I like about this is that I can put different tabs on here so I can keep track of some pages that I go to often. So the two most important things that you need for a bullet journal is a pencil, because I like to map everything out, and this allows you to create spreads very easily without any mistakes, and then a big eraser so you can just erase after you've gone over everything with a pen. So the other thing you will need is a pen. I like using these. They're the Pilot pens. I just like these because they're very fine tipped, so it allows me to be very precise when I write, but you can use any pens you have. It doesn't really matter. These are the basics that you need when you write in your bullet journal. Very standard. Another thing you can use to add color, I found these. These are just old markers that I've had before. But they're the Crayola Super Tips. These are nice. They're also fine tipped, so it allows you to be more precise when you're drawing. Washi tape is another popular thing to have. I got these. They were like $2 each at Walmart. They're the Scotch brand. These are just fun to place on your page, and then I also like to use these kind of as like bookmarkers for more important pages. Another thing I like to use are sticky notes. This is good for things that aren't necessarily going to be permanent on a calendar, or just something that you move around constantly, something you repeat on a daily. Like let's say you for example, filming. If you film a certain video every Tuesday of the month, you can repeat it instead of having to write the same thing over and over again. You just move the sticky note to the next date. So these are just some options that you can use for your bullet journal. But like I said, bullet journal and pens and pencils are the basics with an eraser. So let's jump into mine. So this is what the inside of my bullet journal looks like. I picked a really pretty end paper to put on here. This is like my favorite part of this book that I made. I used this bullet journal in 2019 to begin with, but I didn't keep up with it as much as I would like to, so there's still a lot of pages in here. So the good thing about a bullet journal is that you can customize it however you want, time-wise, whatever. So I just continued from where I left off. The next spread that you would typically have is an index, and this is where you would log everything that you have in this book. So if you want to look back through, you just look at the numbers of the pages and what it is. I don't really use this because my pages aren't numbered. It'd be ideal if you do number your pages. It's so much easier. I know the bullet journals that you buy, the already made ones, have the pages numbered, so this is a good way to keep track of it. The next thing you would have is your future log. This is your entire year mapped out. This is how writer Carol had it. And you can see I didn't even start at the beginning. I started in April. And it went on to the next year. This is how writer Carol did it. For my new one, I did it a little bit differently because I didn't need all of this space. And I'll show you how I do it. Next is a monthly calendar. He just puts the numbers on the sides and then the days to correspond with it. And then you write out like single line things. I do this differently now. And then you just start your daily tasking. So this is when it becomes really customizable. You just go day by day. You can fill in notes as you need. I did a little recipe page. This is a list of all the state parks in West Virginia. And this is where I'm going to log all of the ones that I visit. I've already visited a few. Have way more to go. Some more travel ideas. You know, this is another one. Goals for the month. Like I said, this is where it becomes customizable afterwards. You can literally do whatever you want with it. So this year, I've decided to make it a little more structured. The first page that I have for this new year is a grid map. And this is good for grids or layouts that you know you want to repeat. It'll help you, it'll save time, so you don't need to count the dots every single time and then measure out where half a page and third of a page is, whatever. So what I did, and I learned this from somebody, I will list their name somewhere in here. This is not my original idea. But what you do is you count out the dots horizontally and then you list out the dots vertically. And then you just, divide it in half. You get your half line, divide it into thirds, get your third lines, and then quarters. Nice tool. I use it sometimes. I don't use it very often, but it's nice to have. This is another spread that I decided to add this year, and it would be my ideal day. So what you do is washi tape here, and then I just used a Sharpie. You write down the times of the day from when you get up to when you go to bed. This is a spread that I got from Plant-Based Bride, I believe. I think I butchered her name. But you write down what your perfect day would look like. So I have my morning routine written here. From 8 to 5, I go to work. I have a time blocked out for lunch. And then after I get home, I have kind of a nighttime routine. So this is something nice to have, especially when you're trying to get in the habit of doing a morning and nighttime routine. It's nice to have it all written out so that way you never forget. Like in the morning, if you want to have a structured day, you don't want to sit there and think about what you have to do. You just want to have it memorized and go so that way you don't fall back asleep. This is what my future log looks like. It was a little bit time consuming to fill this out, but it's therapeutic in a way, so I liked it. This, I just have all the dates of the year, and then I fill out things like birthdays, some vacation I have planned, anniversaries, whatever. And then at the end of the month, if I've done cool things, I like to go back in and fill what I've done throughout the month. It's kind of a nice thing to reflect on the month and the year and so forth. And as you can see, I mapped it all in pencil first, and then I just went over it in pen. It saves you a ton of mistakes. Always use pencil first. No questions asked. This is my resolutions page. I just put 2020 big at the top for my New Year's resolutions, the little things. And then I put goals, dreams, daily habits, vacation ideas. But the quote I chose for this year may or may not be a little cheesy. It just says, "No more dreaming, it's time to live." I feel like my issue has always been perfection. Oh, what's that saying? Perfection is the enemy of done. I think that's what it is. This year I'm going to try to stop making everything perfect and just go ahead and do things. It's time to live. It's time to do shit. This is an example of a monthly spread that I had for January. I needed a lot more room for my monthly spread, so I mapped out an entire monthly grid. I did it in 4 sections on each page. So again, the quarter page back of the grid that I have back here. This came in really handy. So I just counted out what looks like 7 dots here and mapped it out here. So I have one side for some note taking that I want to do that month. And then I do a lot of money tracking in my month. So I write down how much I spend every day. This is a good way for me to just keep track of how much I'm spending. And then I just put in events that's going on throughout the month. After my month, this is where I have some unique spreads. I just have lists, basically. These are some video ideas that I'd like to do, and then some tutorials I need to watch, and books I'd like to read for the year. And as you can see, this is a little more fun. I just do mostly my illustrations in these books. There's just like type that I like to draw out. This is a page I didn't really do much for, but I have social media ideas and then content ideas, which ideally are like the same thing. So who knows if I'll keep working on this one. Then this is where you start your daily tasks. You're supposed to do it just day by day. You don't really need to map out your week. But I've learned that I like to map out my week. So I started it here. I didn't like how the spread was laid out, so I changed it after that. This is a habit tracker that I started, but I didn't like this layout, so I jumped to a different one. Some notes. Different way to lay out a week. I didn't really like this way either. I don't need all that space, and it's not really enough room to write. So, different. This is an expense tracker. This is a habit tracker again, but again, I did not like how this layout worked. This is a brain dump, and this is where you literally just write all your thoughts that come in, just short thoughts or notes that you need to keep and remember. You just write it down in here. So this was the spread that I did for January. Kind of pretty, little doodling. Skills I need to improve. More daily tasks. Another project I need to flesh out. Daily tasks. So February is where I really honed in on the spreads that I liked and that worked for me. So this is again the calendar spread, side for notes, and then the whole calendar mapped out. And again, I am tracking my spending through this. This is my expense tracker. Easy way to look at what you're spending, like the bills you have to have, and then how much you can spend or save off of this. So this is a list of my bills, projected amount, actual amount. This is the habit tracker that works for me. All you have to do is draw out your calendar. You don't need days or anything because you can just count those out as you go. And very easy. It takes way less time than writing in all the numbers. And then you just fill in as you go. Oh, another thing that I like about this page specifically, what I did, I added a bookmark here to the side, so it makes it really easy to flip through. I think the habit tracker and the brain dump is something I go back to very often. So I added some washi tape just on the side, and it makes it easy to go back to. Again, this is the brain dump. I'll erase this here because... Alright, this is a brain dump, just some notes that I need to remind myself of. And then this is the spread that I actually like for my week. I just write the week big up top, and then I leave some spaces for days, and then I have a bottom section with notes. This has worked very well for me. It allows me to put in just a few tasks I need to do for the day, and I can cross them off as I go. And then another thing I like to do is I kind of like to go back to these days and add in some things that I enjoyed from that day. Like yesterday there was a cat cafe, and I got to meet this adorable kitten named Lenny Bruce, and I may or may not be getting him. We'll see, but yeah, that's just something I like to put down. So these are the main spreads that I like to have for my bullet journal. These are the basic ones that I recommend everybody has, and then, you know, the yearly spreads. Obviously, like I said, a bullet journal is completely customizable. It's up to you how you want to make it. That's the beauty of this. But I hope this gave you a little bit of inspiration and showed you that, you know, bullet journals don't have to be as creative and illustrative as everybody else makes them out to be. Also, thank you for watching this video. If you have any other suggestions for what you'd like to see below, I'm kind of just doing a bunch of random things. I don't really have my niche per se put down, but I like productivity, I like fashion, I like makeup. I'm gonna upload a few fashion and makeup videos. I have already a few videos on my Instagram that's more fashion related. And I think that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.